Hello, I would like to do a quick demonstration of my game. I've developed it for my final year project called London Riots. Okay, so powered by Unity, developed on Unity engine. Just gonna focus this. Okay, so we have a little introduction here in the beginning. It tells you that what happened on the 2011, that Mark Duggan shooting of Mark Duggan by police turned into a violent criminal rampage. So, and the riots have begun. Okay, by clicking next, we have another screen. It says in order to play, you need two players. They're gonna be playing for different teams, for rioters and police team. Okay, and we have goals here as well. So rioters team goal is to collect as much as loot possible to progress through 3 days and take out any police officers that are in their way. And for the police's goal is to protect the loot and take out the rioters. Okay, the navigation is pretty simple. You need to tap on a person he gonna be going according to the the amount of dices that he rolled. So right, key points: rioters go always forward, police go any direction, and there are different movement styles: left, right, up, down, all sides, only diagonals. So that means up, left, up, right, down, left, down, right. Um, jump jump over one cell in left, up, right, down directions. Um, okay, so that's for navigation. For combat, so in order to attack any of the police or rioters, um, you should position your units next to the opposite team, and your group should be exceeding the other team at least by one in order to attack. Okay, there's also another function. It's called panic attack. Panic attack is the interesting trick that you can do by surrounding the opposite team's member. So if a surround happens, as in your rioters are standing from the left, up, down, left, right directions. So the well, the opposite team member gonna go into a panic attack, which means he'll be vulnerable to attacks. Same applies to a different team. There's also surrounding means not only doing this cross kind of surround, but also diagonal shape as well. So if a, a rioter or a police officer is surrounding the other team in a, let's say, up, left, up, right, down, left, down, right position, then the opposite team goes into a panic attack. Okay, next thing, score. So, okay, rioters score for 5 points for collecting a piece of loot, 5 points for taking out a police officer, and 5 points for every rioter brought to the fourth day. Um, police points get points for each piece of loot that has been untouched. 5 points for taking. Okay, and police gets, yeah, that, and 5 points for taking out a rioter. The game ends if there are no more rioters. Okay, so and begins rioters day one. And this indicates the rioter's turn. Okay, so now we have a selection. Okay, so this is how we navigate. So we have this borders. We can't go that side. No, nothing. So this is a little city that's built. Okay, so you can see a little inside of the houses here, but there's an option to zoom out. There we go. So okay, so what we need to do now is place our units. You can identify that by, say, if you can see, it says tap to place unit on any of these squares, and in the middle you have this 5 more to place sign. So, and okay, and these are the selections of which unit, which directionality he gonna go. So right, if I select, let's say this, um, here we go. So this is how you spawn your units and in those positions. Okay, a little tutorial here, what to do. So rioters, this is the loot you need to snatch. Rioters, mind the police. Rioters, remember you use 2 moves to collect loot. Rioters, go to the safe zone to get reinforcements. Right, so okay, and now this screen appeared. We have this sign to throw dices. Okay, so if I throw dices like this with the swipe motion, 2 cubes appear and they explode and they give you numbers. Those numbers are indicated here in the corner, so 11. And now whenever you click your unit, he can move. So, and you need to spend all your points to progress, to collect loot, and to fight the other team. I'm gonna just run here real quick. I'm just gonna be very short, just maybe one encounter with the police. Okay, so I've collected 1 piece of loot that gives me 5 points. It's not visible, but it has a counter in the background, so whenever you finish the game, that's what happens. Okay, then start. Next team. Okay, next team has more options because the police can go any direction, so this does not change anything for them. So if I place them, let's say like this, okay, and police have slightly less people to spawn, but they have 1 policeman here. Okay, so now we can get out of here and go to block some loot, as so the rioters cannot take it. So this is the instructions, I mean the rules of the game for them to score. So if the police will preserve some loot on the map whenever the day is finished, and it finishes when some guy, okay, so yeah, when start day 2, when one of the rioters gets into the zone, so day 2 starts. So yes, okay, you can see this. Step into step into start day 2. Okay, warning, rioters outside the safe zone will be lost. So this is exactly what happens. Okay, right. So now what we have, okay, we need to do this next turn. So this what happens, rioters turn, drags you into another team, says, okay, drop the dices. Right, and this is how they run. I can demonstrate that, let's say, a fight cannot happen with 2 people in a group. Okay, so there we go. More dice spawned, we get some movements. So the policeman is positioned here, so the rioters cannot take the loot. We're gonna form a little blockade there. So okay, and this guy is running. I have made animations as well for these people, so if you can see by clicking, there we go, he's running that way, so feels less, or it feels more fluid. Okay, this guy has a cocktail Molotov in his hand, as burning bottle basically. Okay, so right, and what he wants to do, okay, because of the style how this person moves, this unit, he cannot collect this piece of loot. So we'll have to perform an attack on the police team, and this would be something like this. So right, okay, unfortunately, because these guys were positioned like this, so I have a disadvantage in my movement, so I'll have to get some reinforcements from the back. Well, essentially, the best idea would be to bring them all at once, so they are less vulnerable, like here, if you can see. So each person is now in a group. By the way, about the groups, groups are identified by the circles that surround a unit when he is in one. So let's say, okay, this is okay. So I've positioned everyone. That's nobody in a group. This is a disadvantage definitely, but okay, I'm gonna do it properly now. So okay, these guys cannot form a group. Let's say here. There we go. So in this way, if you can see, two policemen became one group. So now they would be able to attack a rioter on their own. Well, as a group, definitely. But as one-on-one, there's no such thing in this game. Um, okay, so we'll have to bring them in to fight. Well, I can see there can be a little problem now for because rioters can form a group very shortly and start killing us off. So that is why I will run away back to my team. I'll have to abandon this police officer so he won't get killed. I mean, he will probably be killed, but these guys, they will be in a group and can be stronger against the rioters. Right, so rioters turn again. I would like to outline as well. I have implemented this functionality. It's called skip turn. Okay, there we go. Little Right. So this functionality called skip turn right over here, and when you click it, it doesn't do anything. So a precaution made, just in case if you start dragging and you're like, oh, clicked it somehow. So if you want to skip turn, you need to drag it all the way down. So yeah. So when you then you're gonna skip a turn. So that's working nicely. As well, one more thing is so for you to know how many people you've got in the upper corner here. So you have 5 flags basically, and when by clicking them, the camera will be flying to the appropriate person. So okay, so this is it. So in this case, you kind of have this feeling how many people you have, and if you're safe or not, or maybe you lost somebody somewhere, so you can get to them very quickly like this. Another feature that I have not introduced there in the corner on the bottom, there's this button. It gives you a little bit for more advanced players that actually calculate their moves. This brings up a grid. Unfortunately, this drains up some memory of the device, so the game gets a little slightly bit more laggy. But well, ideally, if you really want to win, so sometimes it's useful to bring this up in the corner here. You can switch it off. So yeah, so this is how you would calculate your moves more efficiently, if you might. Okay, so what happens now? The police is in the group of 3, and we have one. The rights is in the group of 3, and we have one police officer that is in danger. So yeah, this is how you would destroy him by clicking. So and he's gone. So that would give you points, and as well you could take the piece of loot. I need to explain something as well. A piece of loot is not separate models. I had no time to actually create little bits. Maybe this would be something in the future to polish a little bit, but I concentrated on the gameplay and more essential bits unlike this, because it's actually just formality. Okay, so clicked and have loot. Right, so these guys, I'm gonna put them in a group of 3, and because I see one policeman as they are far away, so they will never catch me. Now it would be tougher for them to actually catch up to the other police members. So these guys will have to probably to go and protect this piece of loot, or maybe just to back off into the safe zone of this. So this is the blue one right here. So they are invulnerable here, so we cannot attack them there. In fact, the Riots cannot even go there. Um, okay, so just to continue, right. We have, okay, these guys just gonna go back and skip the turn. So to get on with the game, have a fast demonstration of what's happening. Okay, so dices, these guys ran out. Okay, so they are just gonna, I think I'm gonna sacrifice these. So we're gonna lose everyone just to show what happens when you actually advance to the next day. So okay, and now we have disappeared, and we, if you can't see, probably, okay, and day cell. Okay, you go here, a small cinematic appears. Right, so as you can see, this zone actually indicates that it was kind of crushed a little bit by the riots in 2011. So this is what I tried to do. So a person playing get this little feel what happened. As well, I had demonstrated the burning building on Tottenham Hale back in 2011. This is something who was following the news probably would recognize. Okay, so more policemen spawned. So these guys can go out now and start protecting the second zone. They in day two. Just gonna skip that and just go forward to. Just gonna run to day three to show off the cinematic because the gameplay is pretty much the same. Okay, so now we need to place these guys all over. Okay, one more thing, because there's a limited number of actual units that you could place. They're all different because there's two people that are jump units, like they jump from one cell. So these guys are so these guys are all out because I used them, and you have the majority that go up, down, left, right. So these what I have still left. Okay, and by using bombing, I get to roll the dices, and I can continue with my turn. So yeah, if this is my fast runner, he gonna go um, straight to the other day. So we can see what happens in day 3. Okay, so right, gonna skip that police, gonna skip everything. Okay, so I cannot go anywhere now because back is these guys can't go back. Left and right are there are obstacles in there, and the loot requires 2 pieces. They require um, 2 goes, and I only have 1 movement point left. So right, so this is now inapproachable. So in this case, I just do a skip turn. So next turn, police turn. These guys have to go dices, and ideally they would catch up, try to interact, to find. I have this guy actually here, so he would start chasing you or something. The other player should do this in order to win, and the reinforcements should get out from here, so we get more points, making writers able to move on. So continuing taking the piece of loot and going to the next day. So again, you can see new day, end day that is. So and I go. Okay, and last cinematic. Right, so this day it shows, okay, some more police is in the area. That meant that, by the day 3, more police was out there, so the riots were cutting down, and people were stop raging. Yeah, the law was reinforced basically by that time. Okay, so now, as I said, we have no more selections of units because we've got only one. Um, yeah, so me selecting like this. In total, I've got 11 units in the top, if you can see. So these are the people that are left. Okay, these guys should have been removed. That is, they shouldn't be there. They should be out because as you play the game, nobody will be in the safe zone. You should move out. You shouldn't be jumping days. But still, this will never. Um, you will not benefit from keeping your people in the safe zone in the day one, basically in the day two. All right. So continuing, gonna just run through. Have still a little bit points left. So these guys are running to the end of the game. From the police side, they should be able to um, spawn more units, and they have their number 5. So the police is actually 15 people big. So right, it's kind of tough to move them all together. So that you should be probably consider doing squads and attacking, in teams. But yeah. So maximum capacity would be 15 people. After that, there's no more spawning points, no more spawns. So right, 15 is the maximum, and same applies to these guys. If they would be successful, if a situation like this would happen, when rioters go without any interaction with the police to the end, there would be 15-15. That would be um, that would actually be equal numbers for the police, but still, they would never get past here, and they would, still fight in a way. But this type of scenario is hardly doable. Well, probably, possibly impossible, unless you really want just to cheat the game. But this is still a lot of cheats are disabled, and this is not a cheat, but actually this is somehow you're gonna break the game in a very long time if you really want to. But yeah. Okay, so as this person stopped moving, we have police, and these guys cannot go. They should get out there, but I don't think they're gonna be able to catch this guy because he won. He's fast and he's won. Even if the rioters finish to the end day, um, to the fourth day when it's all finished to the finish line, he won't be able to win because all the loot he skipped all the loot, and the police got the points for the rioters, so that means that gives them a little difficulty here. But actually, police could have quite a chance here, because if this guy would run out of moves, police could catch up because there's two of them. They could team up and they could take this guy out. But this is very unlikely because he runs very fast, and he's almost at the finish line. Right, these guys have no chance of catching. I'm just gonna skip to the end and yeah, see what happens when the game is over. Okay, right, just turn again. Drop the dices. Right, so you could see that there's a lot of police here. Okay, this guy runs in for the gold, and yeah, and okay, so and this is a very probably not the most interesting part of the game, but the score screen that actually calculated how many points each team had. So Rioters finish with the 25 points and Police finish with 35 points. Either way, still the Police would have won. If the guy was straight away going for the end, he would never win because the loot that the Police get if he skips it would still be much bigger in number. So yeah, Police wins. Rioters 25, Police 35. Congratulations. And you have the button to restart the game if you wish so. There we go. Again, instructions, basically a restart of the application. And that's it. So, this is my game. I hope much got clearer now. Definitely there's a lot of improvements that can be done, but for the time being, for the amount of time that I had, I came up with this. Okay, and so thank you for watching.